Hi everybody, it's Chef Rob from the Kitchen Market and Chef in Your Kitchen in my kitchen. So today's recipe I'm taking everybody through is French onion soup with a traditional French onion soup. And then I'll talk a bit what makes traditional versus maybe a North American style French onion soup, okay? Before I start, just a couple quick reminders. The market is open Saturday 7 till 2. All the vendors are indoors now. The upstairs is still open, but with changing protocols now, please visit kitchenermarket.ca site and also /vendor for any of the vendors that are going to be there. So just check it out with changing protocols and stuff like that. Okay, good. All right, so get the recipe in hand there. So let's talk a bit about the recipe, right? What makes a traditional French onion soup is really somewhat of the onions you use in that, okay? North American, you would sort of maybe mix onions, different types of onions, making this French onion soup. But a traditional one is made with really yellow onions. And the reason we're going to use yellow onions is because it gives you two things. One is it gives you a bit of sweetness and also savory. If you use just a sweet onion, you get way too much sweet. So this is really gives you that balance of sweet and savory in that French onion soup. Okay, so that's one key with it in that. The other way is the other thing with it is with gruyere cheese, right? So it's a crostini toasted with gruyere cheese. That's a traditional French onion soup. Okay, so prior to this, if you look in the recipe, I'm just going to put this right over here. In the recipe, I did the caramelizing the onions ahead of time. So what if you notice the recipe, and I know everybody's going to look at it and say, oh, that's like 2 hours. Trust me when I say this. This is an absolute dynamite French onion soup, and it's an incredible way of caramelizing the onions. You don't have to constantly be there stirring them, worried about them getting burnt in that, okay? So what I did was I took a 7-quart Dutch oven. I sprayed it really generously with like a pan. I have like a canola oil. I just spray it really well, the inside of the pan in that, okay? Then I add my 3 tablespoons of butter, all my onions. And again, my onions I'm just slicing my onions up, throwing them all in there, and then I'm going to go through that cooking process. And really all it is, lid on, 400 degrees, let it cook for about an hour. I take the lid off, I give it a little stir, and then I put the lid on, just leave a little slight opening in the lid just to start allowing some of that moisture to come out. And then just a couple more times, in that sort of hour and a half process, I'll go in and just give it a little stir. So what I end up with is that for my caramelized onions. And if you can see it, it's really nicely caramelized. It's not brown. I've given it that time to really draw out that flavor. And that's the key to a really good French onion soup. A little patience and time, and you end up with just a fantastic product, okay? So, all right, so I've done the caramelizing in the oven. So now what I want to do is really slowly bring out some more of that deglazing. And what you'll find in your pan is you'll have a lot of like brown parts to it, like around the edges and that, right? And all I'm doing is, now I'm just trying to sort of scrape away all that sort of beautiful, as I always say, the goodness in there, right? So I just really want to just keep scraping it away. I'm just going to slowly add a little more water. And this process, I do like a couple times, okay? I'm going to do this a couple times. And really, I'm just sort of kind of getting along the sides. I really want to scrape it out. And I just really want to grab all that real goodness out of that onion soup, okay? And I tell you, you can really smell that just fantastic flavor, okay? And we're going to do it once more. And again, I'm adding the water. I'm allowing it to evaporate out. And then I add just a little more, okay? And again, I'm just really just trying to scrape the sides and get all that sort of, it's almost like a brown crust on the side you'll see in your pan. And I'm just using that water and that evaporating process just to sort of get at that, okay? And again, be careful, watch the pan is very hot, okay? So just be really careful with it, okay? When you're doing this. All right, okay, so now I got my sides a little off. I got the brown out of the pan and stuff like that. So now what I want to do is, I just want to get a little sherry in there, okay? And this you can get at the regular grocery store. It's a cooking sherry in that, okay? And of course, I'm going to add that proper amount. So then again, I'm going to do that same process. I just want to swirl it around. I just want it to sort of evaporate a bit of the alcohol from it. And then you get that beautiful flavor. Now, a traditional French onion soup, you cook with sherry, okay? And again, the one reason I really love this technique is the fact that it helps you caramelize those onions really well. So a lot of times if you're doing it on the stove and that, and I hear a lot from people is, you know, I caramelize them on the stove, constantly stir. And it's a lot of work and effort to get them, and sometimes they burn them and whatever. So this process is really letting them naturally sort of caramelize it, and slow process in that stove. Okay, so I have my, I got my sherry in there, it's evaporate. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and add my rest of my ingredients. So I'm gonna add the rest of that water I didn't use, right? So I have 2 cups of water, or a little less than that, sorry. My beef broth. Okay. And my chicken broth, right? So I'm just gonna add all my ingredients now. Okay. Let's give it a little stir here. And I'm just gonna turn it up a bit. I'm just gonna get it so it starts boiling up, and then all I really want to do at this point from here on is I really just want it to simmer out, okay? So I got some beautiful thyme. I'm gonna put my thyme in there. And again, with your thyme, you can tie it up or whatever. That's really up to you. I just kind of lay it in and stuff like that. And then I'm just gonna put a little pepper in there, just add a little seasoning. I'll add a little salt in there. And then what I want is, I just want to take a little try of it. So I'm going to get a spoon here. And I just want to give it a little taste. And just check the flavoring. Oh, that's wonderful. All right, so I just need a little more salt. And again, I always talk about the kosher salt. I like it coarse. I want to feel how much I'm putting in. Okay. And it's amazing. I can really taste that sort of sweet, not overpowering, with that savory taste already in that, okay? All right. Now, in this recipe, you can add a bay leaf. I'm choosing not to add one on this time around. But again, you can put a bay leaf in here too in that, okay? All right, so I got my soup here. I'm just sort of I want to bring it up a little, almost up to boiling there. And then I'm just going to really reduce it and allow it to simmer out a bit, okay? All right. Get our lid on. Now, at this point, I want to allow it to simmer out for, I say, about a half hour or so. Then again, check it, flavor and stuff like that, okay? All right, so while that's going, let's talk a bit about sort of the garnish with this one, right? What I use as a garnish is, it's just really a crostini, you know, and again, I just get a baguette, nice little slices, I add a little butter to it, and then I just really, you know, 350 or so in the oven, I toast it all up. The reason you want to toast it is one of the, I get a lot of people saying, you know, I love the French onion soup, but every time sometimes when they put that baguette, it's not toasted, it gets soggy and stuff like that. That's the nice thing about toasting it ahead of time. That way then it sort of kind of stays in there. It doesn't get real soggy real quick and that. Okay, so great little trick, real easy. And again, baguettes don't necessarily have to be same day bake. I always find when I get sort of doing crostinis, I find like day after ones seem to be a little better. I find a little more flavor in that. So don't be afraid to get day old stuff when it comes to baguettes. or sorry, doing crostinis, maybe if you're doing croutons, same sort of thing, right? So don't be afraid to get the day old stuff, okay? Let's go check this here. Oh yeah. Okay, so the other part in there is we talk about the gruyere cheese, right? And that is traditional for the French onion soup. It's got that real nice sharpness and stuff like that. So again, so what I do is I'll just take that crostini, I'll toast it up, I'll throw some of the gruyere cheese on it, I'll just retoast that again, and then I will just use that as sort of the garnish on top of my French onion soup and that. You can, if you want, you can maybe put it in a different type bowl, maybe lay some cheese on it, put that in the oven, bake it. So there's different styles of doing it, right? So just a sort of a couple key things going back on this soup is, number one is yellow onion. It'll give you that beautiful sweet and savory taste, okay? So that, to me, that's really number one when you're doing a good French onion soup. Get that yellow onion, okay? Number one. And then secondly is really that crostini on top of that. So really sort of, toast that up, get it ready to go on. And I can't tell you, the 2 hours and a bit in the oven with those onions really caramelizes them up, brings out that beautiful, gorgeous flavor in that, okay? So why don't we just, we'll boil one up and so we can have a look at it, okay? Grab that. Now I'm gonna jump the gun here and I'm gonna grab a bowl right now because let's have a little look at it. Oh, it's beautiful. So what we want to do is just, I'm just going to throw a little bit in a bowl here again. And as you can see, the beautiful caramelized onions. Oh my. And again, you can let this, like have a nice slow simmer, give it about a good half hour of simmering and stuff like that. Just so you guys can have a look at it, I'm going to pull it out just a tad earlier. And again, you got that beautiful, and then again, just that nice crostini in the top, and wow, that's where you get that beautiful, and I'm going to put the lid back on, beautiful French onion soup. And again, really, this is a great soup. Take that time, caramelize those onions in that nice quart Dutch oven, and then follow the recipe. And I'm telling you, you are going to make the most fabulous French onion soups. Your friends are going to love it. Okay, so just again, Kitchener Market, open from 7 till 2 on Saturdays. Please go in, check all the protocols, kitchener.ca, just prior to it. Lots of stuff on Facebook coming up, so check that out. And to all of you, please be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks for joining me.